want to do like orange? Is there an orange thing happening? It doesn't even matter. Who cares? All right. So I want to tell you this before we get, I mean, as we're already started. So today isn't going to be your typical webinar. I think that most of us here have gone through webinars. You've seen webinars. That image that you had, that you saw at the very beginning, if you came at the beginning, then you saw an image. That's going to be pretty much one of the only images until the end when we look at something else. But we're not going to do a whole bunch of slides. It's not going to be a PowerPoint because sometimes those are great, but I want you and I to be connected here. This is what it's all about. It's about you. It's about us having a conversation, really, and using the Q&A so we can talk back and forth. And I'm going to allow people to talk. I don't know why the Q&A. I want to look at the chat really quickly. Why can't I want to just see one thing really quickly. Why is the chat disabled? Hold on. I just want to look at something. Oh. Bonk! Someone try to use the chat now. And then we'll get going. I know we're already 10 minutes in. Someone try to, yay, it works. Very good, it works. So, all right. Chatty. All right, everyone. So, take a big deep breath. All right, so this isn't a normal webinar. This is gonna be a training, it's gonna be a conversation. Deborah, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so first of all, I have to tell you right from the start, that's my cat. That's my cat, Roxy. She's sleeping over there. During the day, they're not usually out. At night, they're out. Anyway, so it's not a normal webinar in the fact that we're going to wait till the end and I'm going to spring something on you. No. We're not doing that. That's old school. It feels manipulative, feels yicky, yuck. I have created, Oliver, that's a great question, and I will get to that. We'll get to that for sure, Oliver. Thank you so much. I've created a 10-week program. It's called Falling into Unconditional Love. Fall, because fall is coming up here in this part of the hemisphere. Get it? Falling. And that program is starting next week. And this is a little preview of the program, basically. And I haven't done a program specifically about non-duality at all before. And I always touch on it, I always bring it, but I've never done a program specifically about it before. And so at the end here, we're going to talk about that program. So I don't want to spring it on you like you did all this, then I got to convince you to, but I want us to be in the moment. So don't be surprised when later on down the line, I go, okay, so this is what we're doing next week. And if you'd like to join us, and there's a big, huge gift for you. It's a huge gift for you at the end. But that's besides the point. Oliver, how does A Course in Miracles relate to Law of Attraction? I got my Course in Miracles right here. This is the Course in Miracles. If you don't know, I have been a teacher and student of A Course in Miracles for over 40 years, right? So I'm going to tell you this. And we're not talking about Law of Attraction today, but A Course in Miracles says in the Course in Miracles, you see what you expect what you invite, and what you invite comes to you exactly as you sent for it. You see what you expect what you invite, and what you invite comes to you exactly as you sent for it. So that is Law of Attraction. So what you see is what you get. So what you are projecting out into the world is what you're creating more of, and you're inviting it into your life. So the Course in Miracles, which is a non-dual teaching, and we're going to talk all about non-duality today and what duality is and non-duality, right? So if you understand that, but wouldn't that express duality? It would on some level. And now it's not into the weeds, but what A Course in Miracles is doing is it's helping you to understand what it's like to live in the dream state. in duality, but it's pointing you towards non-duality, because there's only one thing that's real: love, unconditional love. That's what I say. So the Course in Miracles is helping everyone to have what it says, a happy dream. It's still a dream, but there is something other than a dream. You can either be living in this world in a nightmare of struggle, of competition, of specialness, of not feeling good enough, of always trying to get somewhere. That is a nightmare. Fear, anxiety, that is a nightmare scenario. The Course in Miracles is all about having a peaceful, happy experience while you're here, but it is pointing to what's non-dual, if that makes sense. Okay, thank you, Oliver. That's a great question. Great question. So let me turn this up a little bit. Okay, so I want to ask you. Oh, I can do my little poll here. Let's see. Where's my polls? Hey, where did the polls go? Polls. Oh, there they are. Okay, I'm going to put a poll up here, and I want you to look at this poll, and I want you, have you heard of non-duality? Please put yes or no. I want to know. Everybody here. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Okay. So most people here have heard of non-duality, right? Most people here have heard of non-duality. I'm going to tell you that non-duality is something it's become a hot topic in the spiritual world. It's become a hot topic. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of what has happened. Let's see. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what's happened with this character, and notice that I'm saying this character has been doing this, I told you, for 40 years. And I told you it's about helping you to have the happy dream, right? Now, when this has been, it doesn't have to be this long. This is my story very quickly. So I knew only love was real. I knew the principles of A Course in Miracles. I practiced the principles of A Course in Miracles. It changed everything in my life, and it continued to change my life over and over, and it still does. It still does. Even after 40-something years, there are some people here that have been studying the Course in Miracles for that long, and it continues to deepen your experience, widen your experience, open you up. Because remember, A Course in Miracles has one goal, is true inner peace, but its main thing is to help you to remove the blocks to the presence of unconditional love, right? So think of it as an attic, not an addict, an attic in a house full of boxes. We use this all the time. So the boxes are the blocks to the presence or your awareness of unconditional love, right? So as you do this work, a box goes, and another box goes, and another box goes, and another box goes, until, well, first of all, your whole experience of yourself changes, your whole life changes, everything changes, but nothing changes. So nothing changes and everything changes. But as the boxes begin to move and begin to literally evaporate, what are you left with? An empty attic. An empty attic, right? So this is the way that, think of the attic as your mind. So your mind becomes what? Clear. The blocks to the presence of unconditional love are gone. So for this character, the blocks went. And then something began to happen. And I was like, and it was crazy. Because the blocks, there's many blocks, right? In the illusion. Your anger, your self-concept, your desires, your fears, your history, your all of your labels, all of that stuff are all blocks to what is already here, right? So non-dual awareness began to happen for this character. And it was very earth-shattering, basically, and very scary. So this character began to say, well, what the heck? Because there's nothing to teach, really, but there are major pointers to it. So a few years ago, it all started to happen for this character. And some of my students that have been with me for a very long time know I said something is happening because this, which is so good and so important for you and for everyone, I believe, this began to be like, okay, so even the Course in Miracles says once you're done, that's when everything starts. When you're done. And so this character began to say, well, what the hell am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? All this character I knew was to keep moving. Just stop, but keep moving. See, Aaron says, I'm freaking done. That's right. So there is this, remember, it's non-duality. So it's not stopping and it's not going. So there is this place where everything is stopped, but it's also moving at the same time. It's everything and it's nothing at the same time. And so the figment of the imagination of this character who had a life, but there is no life to have, because life is just, there's no one there to have it anymore, because the character is a fiction, right? So the character becomes a fiction, and then you're like, what? All I knew was I had to stop and move at the same time. So that's what I did. And I told my students about it. And then I began to incorporate it more into the work. And then it began to really, my life changed. Everything changed, but kind of nothing changed. And the result of it was what I always say: freedom. A freedom that was never experienced before. The freedom of everything, the vastness and openness of the nothingness, the beautiful emptiness of it all. Because the only thing that's keeping you or this character away from that was all the boxes in the attic. And when those begin to fade away, there is nothing but pure, unconditional love. Not love, because when you think about love, every one of you that are watching right now, that are here with us, has an idea of love. That's not what we're talking about. Unconditional love is, there is no meaning put on anything. There is no expectation put on anything. There is no gotta get, gotta do, gotta not do. No. One of the biggest lessons from A Course in Miracles, this is why it's so valuable. One of the biggest lessons from A Course in Miracles is I need, do. Anybody know? Want to put in the chat? I need, do, nada. Nothing. Because there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. Yes and no. That's right. And then around that point, somehow this book came into my life, Spiritual Enlightenment, The Damnedest Thing by Jed McKenna. And I was like, oh shit. This was what was happening to me. And I was like, oh shit, there's a name for it. There's a name for it. And it's abiding non-dual awareness. I had worked with Adyashanti for many years. I'd worked with Gangaji. I'd worked with many people, Marianne Williamson, of course. But you can't explain it. But when it happens, and it happens to no one, because the character goes away. You know, you've heard of that term, you are your own worst enemy. Put in the chat if you've ever heard that. You are your own worst enemy. Ever heard that before? Yes. And you are your own worst enemy. But it's not you, it's a character. It's a character. And this is so incredibly powerful. When you start, this is why I'm doing this program that I'm going to tell you about later, is that you start to see very clearly that your character is the problem. You are the problem. But what the character hears when I say that, they go, oh, I got to fix myself. Now I got to change. I got to be better. I got to change. I got to do something. No. I need to do nothing. I need to do nothing. I need to do nothing. Because it's just the character trying to change the character. You understand? It's like people changing their belief. It's like any belief is duality, because you either believe it or you don't believe it. So you believe in green monkeys or you believe in red horses. One's right, one's wrong. No, one's right. This one's right. This one's wrong. No. So you just change. The ego tries to chase itself. What do we always say? The Lily Tomlin quote. It doesn't matter if you win the rat race, because you always will stay a rat. The problem is the rat. The race is happening. The problem is the rat. Now the rat's going to hear it and go, oh, I got to be a better rat. I'm going to be a better rat now. And look at me. I'm going to meditate more. I'm going to study more. I'm going to do my crystals. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Nothing's wrong with any of that. And nothing's right with any of that. Right? Because remember, this is unconditional. Right? So there's nothing. But if anything from tonight, I want you to understand that the character can't ever do what we're talking about, because the character was created to keep you away from what we're talking about. Take a deep breath. So you are your own worst enemy. And the Course in Miracles would say, your problem is you think you have a problem, and that's your problem. And I say to my students, you are not a problem to be solved. Because if you keep thinking you're a problem to be solved, you stay in the realm of the egoic mind, the separated self, in the character, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with the character. There's nothing wrong with duality. That would be a judgment. That would be conditional. I'm not here to tell you, you need to get to non-duality. First of all, you're already there. It's already there. You're not there, but it's there. It is there. It's like telling, we use this analogy all the time. It's like telling the fish to find the water. It's like telling you, find the oxygen. Find the oxygen. You can't find the oxygen, you're in the oxygen. It's so obvious. All of this is so obvious. But not having the awareness of it, non-dual awareness, basically, that not having it keeps you in the character, keeps you in the fiction, right? James says the observer and the observed are one in the place that is one. Very good, B. I keep saying James. That's right. And that's exactly the direction that we're going through to, B. And I want to take a moment right now to just talk about what duality is, because it's important that we understand duality. If you're here, you're interested in this. So let's talk. And one of the best ways to do this, I think, is to use a pendulum, right? So I have this pendulum. Wait a second. This pendulum, right? So pendulum goes back and forth, 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 right? So the pendulum is duality. Why is it duality? Because it's back and forth, right? So as it goes like this, up, this could be up, this could be down. This could be spiritual, this could be, I don't know, atheist, I guess. I don't know. This could be fat, this could be skinny. This could be successful, this could be failure. This could be smart. This could be dumb. You understand? The world in the illusion is based on this, So what you do unconsciously is you're trying to ride that wave. Boom, 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 boom. Happy, sad, mad, angry. Everything is always got to get there. No, I was here. Young, old, life, death, right? All of this is duality. Now, as you see with this, where is there the most swing on the pendulum? Where's the most swing on the pendulum? Anybody in the chat? Where's the most swing on the pendulum? The biggest duality. I'm waiting. You can put it in the chat. Where on this, the extremes, the bottom, thank you. So the bottom is the most crazy down here, right? Right here is the most crazy. Now, as you notice, there's less swinging here, there's less swinging here, there's less swinging here, there's less swinging here, and there's almost no swinging where? At the fulcrum. At the fulcrum. Now, when you notice that, you see that when you become, I'll use Jed McKenna's term, a spiritual adult, you move up this. Because a spiritual child, which you are, it doesn't even matter. The word spiritual is crazy. Anyway, whatever. When you're in the dream very intensely, when you think you are the character, you're at the bottom. But when you begin to gain, I call it a healthy objectivity to what's going on, you begin to move up this, and the swing is less. There's not as much extreme. The duality becomes less. Do you understand? So this kind of happens naturally as you age, but you're still in the dream state. Now your ego is going to watch this and go, I got to get to the top. I got to get to the top. The point of this is you already are at the top. This is this is reality, basically. And this is the dream. This is the dream down here. So when you think about this in comparison with your life, you're always trying to get from one side to the other. And if I wasn't here, I'm going to go over there. One here, here. This is the control. This is the insanity. This is the overwhelm. And it leads to very, very intense things. People become overwhelmed. They become depressed, full of anxiety. They become angry. They become recluse. They become a lot of different things when you stay at the bottom, But when you begin to go up, there's a clue here, is that you begin to feel more what? Stable. There's a stability that begins to happen. And to use this analogy again, this bottom has the most boxes in its attic. As you go up, you start clearing the boxes of the attic. Does that make sense? Well, there's the fun in that. Where's the fun in that? That's right. So this is good. Aaron says, where's the fun in that? Because the egoic mind is going to say, no, don't go up here because there's no fun in that. This is nothing. I want the roller coaster. Now, this is the nothing. This is the everything. But that is through the lens of the character, of the separated self. It literally, in the Course in Miracles, it says, do not be fooled. The ego wants to kill you. because the ego does not want you to have the realization of the fulcrum. That's why no matter what happens, I was talking to someone today, and there's all this good stuff happening for this person and myself because we're in a similar situation. And I'm like, bring it on. This is good. This is good. And this person's like, it can't be that good. Something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. I was like, really? It's because he's more down here. Because he's like, he thinks if it swings this way, it's got to swing that way. That's not the truth. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. When you're up here, you can see it and you can be like, well, this is what's happening now. And that's the most important thing, because there is no time. There is only now. So everything is good. Everything is exactly what it's supposed to be. B says, I'll take nothing with an extra nothing on the side. I love that, B. That's good. Very good. I love it. So I wanted to give you that because the top of the fulcrum is kind of the representation of abiding non-dual awareness. Now, let's look at this. When you're up here, what can you do? You can look down at the insanity and you can go, oh, I see what's happening. Oh, that's what's happening. I remember when I used to be down there, when my character was all involved in all that insanity, and now you can just watch it and go, that's interesting. And if anyone is of a certain age, you know that naturally that happens. It does. And even Jen McKenna says naturally that happens. And not everyone, this isn't for everybody. Listen, this isn't for everybody, right? So, but if you are interested, you can live your life up here and you can see the insanity and go, wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. And that is freedom. That is what it's all about. So this character began to go away. And it's so interesting because the more that the character went away, the more the character became itself. It's like it's on some level, it's like really healthy psychology, right? So the more that all of your boxes start to clear out of your attic, the authenticness of whatever you are begins to come out, right? I mean, for example, nails. Like I love nails and I love and I always have, but back in the day, I would never do that. Oh. Now I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, I want fucking nails. You understand? And it's the same thing with how my life goes. This life, I don't have a life. Life is happening through me. So I'm like, I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I know there's very few times that this character now ever goes through any kind of like, should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I? It's so obvious. It's like, yes, no. And that's empowerment because there's no character to be like, I'm going to weigh it out. Then I'm going to ask 12 friends. Then I'm going to blah, blah. You know. And one of the things I say to my students all the time, I do this physical thing of it's this. Get ready. It's this. Falling into everything. It's a feeling of freedom. It's the opposite of do, 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 do. Although do, do, do can happen. That sounded funny. Do can happen, but it's not the MO. And no decision is ever based on what? Fear. If you think about it for 5 seconds, my friends, you'll realize that many, many decisions in your life are based on fear. Fear of acceptance, fear of death. All fear comes back to fear of death, for sure. So what I've seen in the last few years and I've been doing this and living this way, and with my students, is I realize that there are very, very clear pointers towards this, because it can't be taught. It can't be taught. Just like you can't try to find oxygen. But there can be pointers that tweak you. Listen, this has a ton of pointers that tweak you, that make your mind go, hmm? You get enough of those, hmm? And suddenly something really starts to happen. And that's why I'm doing this program, which we'll talk about in a second. So let's take a moment. What questions do you have? There are no right questions and there's no wrong questions. So what do you want to ask? Put it into the chat there. What do you want to say, or what's coming up for anybody about any of this? And then while you do that, I'm going to look at my notes to make sure I haven't. Okay, that. Okay, what's coming up for you? Tiffany's laughing. Remember, nothing's wrong and nothing's right. Anything. Oliver, thank you. So many people in A Course in Miracles denounce the dream. Why? Well, I'm not denouncing the dream at all. I'm not. Because this is my experience and my experience only, is that before you get to it, you think that this is actually a duality teaching. It's not a duality teaching. You think it's like the dream or reality. It's not. It's trying to help you to understand what the dream is. But it doesn't. When you start to, because it's a very common for people to start. Remember, I said there's nothing wrong with the dream. There is nothing wrong with the dream, but it is a dream. Right? There's nothing wrong when you go to sleep and you have a dream. It's just a dream. You just think that the dream is real. So many people can get really confused. They're like, oh, I just have to I got to get to the truth. I got to get to the truth. I got to get it out of the dream, get it out of the dream. That's not what I'm saying at all, because that's just the egoic mind trying to get out of the dream again. And from A Course in Miracles point of view, Victor, you create what you defend against. So why would you be pushing against the dream? That doesn't make sense. Because you see what you expect and you expect what you invite. Remember what you asked at the beginning? I think it was you, about law of attraction. So I think there's a fundamental kind of, because remember, this is not a religion. This is a non-duality text that's pointing you to help you to see the rat race. Now, the ego goes, rat race, bad. Rat race, bad. No, nothing wrong with the rat race. There's nothing wrong with the rat race, but you're giving it a meaning that it's bad. Understand? What the hell? Tiffany says, oh no, let's see. Tiffany says, oh no, Victor, wait. Oh, Oliver, you were saying that. Sorry, Oliver. Victor says, have you read Don Miguel's books? Yeah, they are similar. Yeah, there's quite a few things. Dreams are very real to the soul who is experiencing them. Of course they are, for sure, for sure. Marcy says, what if you know this is a dream, but you still want your character to live a certain type of life? There's nothing wrong with any of it. I would like this character to live a certain type of life. Remember when I said that this is pointing you to the happy dream? Listen, it's better to have a happy dream than a nightmare. So nothing wrong with that. Now, wanting your character, you do have to ask, why am I wanting this? You don't have to, but it's usually because of a fear. Because ultimately, everything is given to you. The right relationships, the right everything, it's just right there. But you're like, I don't want that one. No, not that one. I want this one. Life itself is pulsing through everything. There's no disconnection from you and life, right? So life is happening, and then you're like, okay, that's what's happening. You're not judging it. You're not saying no to it. You're going, yeah, that's the way we're going. And if you have an inspiration to go a certain way, then go that way. So there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely. So you want the dream to be the way, but then get attached to it, the outcome. The attachment is only of the ego. You do things, but you don't do them. Well, the character is going to do something, whatever, but it just happens. It just happens. Things just happen. Outcomes happen. Desires happen. Goals happen. But you don't do it. First of all, I'm going to come back to this. You're never doing it because of fear. Because the only thing that has fear is the character. So the character can become a conduit for life to just flow through. Take a deep breath. Oliver says, Chapter says, listen to the guidance of the Holy Spirit. He knows he must intervene with guidance through him. Very good. Now, so you're totally right. And if you don't know the Course in Miracles, the Holy Spirit is the bridge between the illusion and the truth, basically. Now, what I teach, Oliver, is that the Holy Spirit is a vibrational field. It's the field of possibility. So it's the same thing, but it's always bringing you towards that flow. It's bringing you towards life itself. It's removing things, but if you are aware enough of it, you go, oh, that's the way. Oh, that's the way. Right? You don't need the Holy Spirit, but the Holy Spirit is a vibrational field that the character goes, oh, okay. I never thought I would do this before. And you do it, right? Because it's not in the character's character. And then you go, I guess I'm going to be a lifeguard. And then you find out, oh my God, lifeguard is a good thing, whatever happens to be. Because you're allowing that field to come through you. You don't have all the stuff. You're not competing anymore. You're not, you don't have a disconnection from yourself. You don't have a story. You're not making choices based on fear anymore. You're not trying to get somewhere anymore. You're just allowing that Holy Spirit to move through you. In traditional religion, sometimes they talk about the Holy Spirit moving through you. Amen. Well, it's not exactly like that, but you understand? Yeah, the highest good. Victor says, is the character a consequence of duality? Is the character a way to appreciate contrast? Well, yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Yes. Now, is the character a consequence of duality? The character is duality. You know how the character is duality? Because the character is born and it dies. That's duality. What does this say? There is no death. You are not a body. So your character is duality. Think about it for a second. What happens with the character's mind? It's always going, should I wear red? Should I wear blue? Should I stay? Should I go? I was born, I'm going to die. So the character is duality, and it does help you to, I don't know, appreciate contrast, but see it and realize that's all a story. That's all a story you made. What does Shakespeare say? Nothing is either good or bad, but anyone know the rest of that? But thinking makes it so. Nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Thank you, Tiffany. So, all right, take a deep breath. So I sat down and I was like, okay, what are the things that I could get deep with people and really delve in a group context and really get in there? And some of it comes from A Course in Miracles, some of it doesn't come from A Course in Miracles, right? The Course teaches a similar thing of Abraham Hicks. It does, Oliver. You're right. So nothing is good or bad, right? So I sat there and I was like, let me just think about all the things that would work. And if I put it in the program, and then I just was like, okay. And this is another example of, oh, I guess that's what I'm doing now. I didn't judge it. I didn't go, meh, meh, meh. I didn't think, oh, I need to make a whole bunch of money now. And it just came. It just happens, right? So I did that, and I came up with this program, and I want to share with you what the program is right now, and I'm going to tell you what it is, okay? So, and you can keep putting in the chat, but I want to share, first of all, just stay there a second. I need to get rid of this. I got to get to the right page here, everyone. Hold on a second. No, that's not it. It's here. It's here. Okay. All right, everybody. Okay, let's just go through this real quick. All right. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. I have to share the screen. Share the screen. Okay. And remember, I said at the beginning, I have a huge, huge gift for you at the end of this. So tell me when you can see this. Oh, I didn't see the chat anymore. What happened? Oh, chat. Oh, there's the chat. Can you see it, everybody? Oh, you can see it. Okay. So here it is. Here's what we're doing. And we're starting at September 24th, which is a week from today. It's a 10-week program, 10 weeks, right? So this is the idea of, imagine getting out of the loop of searching for happiness and worth and fulfillment and all of that other stuff. So this is what it is. It's really a transformational program that's rooted in the timeless wisdom of non-duality, because non-duality, it's coming back to what is. And I use the Course in Miracles for sure. So the program is really about non-duality, teaches that we are not separate from each other or from life itself. There is no, the Course in Miracles would say, there's nowhere where you end and God begins. There's nowhere God ends and you begin. And if you know me, I always don't use the word God so much, so I use the word life. There's nowhere life ends and you begin, and you end and life begins. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. That starts to touch on this abiding non-dual awareness, right? So, but often we forget it. So we get caught in this illusion of duality that we talked about, the idea that we're small, we're isolated, we're individual in a vast world. No, remember, you're not in the universe. The universe is in you, but there's no you. Okay? Okay. All right. Let's chew on that one. So let's go through here. So let's just go through a couple of these. I wrote these things down. If you're feeling disconnected from yourself, enter the world. If you're feeling that kind of like that struggle, isolated, disconnected from yourself, not knowing exactly what you are, this is what we're going to talk about. Stuck in the cycle of seeking and never feeling good enough, and you're always trying to get there, trying to feel better, trying to change your mood, trying to change your, it's a constant, exhausting thing. If you have these like personal stories, limiting beliefs, I wrote that, but I don't like that. But it's these stories. We talk a lot about stories. What are your stories? A lot of my students know that. So these are limiting beliefs. And then, or are you just changing a belief to shift another belief for another belief? We talked about that earlier. Here's a big one, the need to be right and the need for control. Most people don't realize that almost everyone is a control freak. Almost everyone's a control freak, right? Living from fear, making choices from fear, number 5 there, or making choices from unworthiness, like I'm not good enough, so I better do this, or I'm not smart enough, so I better do this. It's all fear, all fear. Attachment to specialness. This is a big one that's close to needing to be right, but specialness, there's a whole chapter in this called The Treachery of Specialness, which is so mind-blowing that will really open you up for sure. Overwhelmed by life itself. Remember the pendulum? When this down here is taking over, you're overwhelmed by everything. It doesn't, when this happens to no one, there's no overwhelm. There's just an observation of insanity. And it is insane. Right? A constant desire to get somewhere. Always thinking about when I lose the weight, when I get spiritually connected, when I understand what non-dual awareness is. It's all bullshit. Difficult in letting go of painful experiences or mistakes. Then we talk about forgiveness, all this stuff. And a real desire, a calling. This is a big one. You have this calling for this unconditional love. There's a calling. And in the Course in Miracles, it says there's an ancient melody that's going on and on and on. And you can hear it, but you're not sure what it is. This is part of what we're talking about here. Now, here are some of the topics: duality versus non-duality, character versus actor, making meaning, stories, the illusion of the world, waking up from the dream versus waking up in the dream. That's a big one. Waking up from the dream versus waking up in the dream. Both of those are fine. No one's better than the other. Trying to get there, like we talked about, needing to be right, and specialness. All of these things we're going to cover. Each week we're going to cover all of these, not every single one, but over 10 weeks we're going to be together and we're going to delve into it. We're going to really delve into it. And it's immersive learning, an hour and a half sessions. I'm only taking 12 students. Only 12 students because I want it to be very intimate. Some of my students already know that. I've done classes when there's 40, 50, 60 people. It's fine. But I want connection. I want you to connect. But actually, there's only 10 spots left because 2 people already signed up. Just let you know. Practical exercises, we're going to do maybe some meditations. There's going to be interactive homework every week. You'll have homework. You're going to have a community, Facebook group where we'll communicate. You'll have the recordings, and every single lesson that we do is going to have time for sure for Q&A, because I think the Q&A is really important. Everyone gets to ask, and nothing's off the table. There's no dumb questions and everything. So I want you to really know. And I say it's 60 to 90 minutes, because if we get the work done in 60 minutes, great. But if I have to stay, I'm going to stay. I'm going to help you. I'm going to do all I can to, because it's about you. So I'm going to do all I can to help you. So we'll stay. You know about me. This is stuff that you will be able to read all that stuff about what people have said about me, which is very nice. So Tuesday nights, September 24th to November 26th, the fall, see, fall. And it's going to be this time, 9 to 10, 10:30 Eastern time, 6 to 7, 7:30 Pacific time, 60 to 90 minutes. We can get a lot done in that time. Also, I mean, you know me, it's going to be fun. I mean, we have a good time. So spaces, there's only 10 students left, 10 spaces left, because 2 people just joined. So now, here's the deal. Here's your big gift. Are you ready? For a limited 48 hours, you get $200 off. If you sign up in 48 hours, you get $200 off. That's it. 48 hours. 48 hours. So it's only $297. It's only $297 for 10 weeks for the whole thing. But that you have to do it in 48 hours. And there's a little timer down here, right? But I'll show it to you. If you don't, it's $497. Now, for $497, though, you also It won't come with the discounted price, but you get 2 private sessions with me. For $497, you can get 2 private sessions with me. And that is so good. So good. I charge $150. That's $300 right there, a session. So that's a really good deal. So both of these have payment plans. Both of these have payment plans. So here's the clock. 2 days, 2 hours. So it's a little bit more. You have the clock. So you can save $200, and I'm going to give you this link right now, and I'll put it in there. So you can do the discount full, or you can do it 2 payments. You can do the full tuition, which includes 2 sessions with me, 2 private sessions with me. You can do it full right here, or you can do full tuition, 2 payments of $250. Because of the payment thing, I have to charge a little bit of money because they charge me. So that's the whole deal. I'm going to put, hold on a second. I'm going to put this, copy of this, and put it in here. You also will get the email, but make sure you, there it is in the chat. There it is in the chat. So I would love to have you join us. I would love to have you join us. I'm going to stop this. So any questions or about the program, but I also want to know what you got. Are the sessions once a week? They're on Tuesdays. That's okay. They're on Tuesdays. They start next Tuesday. This same time as today. B. Same time as today. Yep. Any other questions about it? And then I want to hear what you took away from our work today. And I am gonna announce this. 1 hour long, once a week. Yes. Sometimes it's gonna be 90 minutes with a group of 12 and me. Yes. No, I'm not gonna be there. I'm just gonna put you with a whole bunch of other people. And we have really great. I've created some really good exercises and homework that'll be challenging but fun to make these concepts, because this is about experience, right? They'll be recorded if you miss a class. They're always recorded, and then you can go back. I'll make a whole what's it called, a playlist, so you can go back and watch them at any time. Right, Christine? Christine's joining us. I'll just tell you, Christine's joining us. Right? Will we use the course book number 1? The course, the way I'm going to use the course is I'll use concepts that are throughout the course. So you don't have to have a course if you don't have one, but if you do have the course, that would be great. So some people don't have the course. I don't want it to be just people that have the course. They can access the course online if they need to, but we will be using, it'll be kind of all throughout it, depending on what the topic is, B. Does it make sense? Sure. Great. Any other questions about the course? Not the course, but the program. Okay. So let me know if you feel like you got value, but at the same time, what's one thing about this non-duality that we're talking about? I would like you to write something in the chat about something that you are taking away that stood out for you today. Anybody? One thing, doesn't matter. Anything. Lori says, my takeaway is the reminder that life is happening through me. Thank you, Lori. That's a good one. That's a good one. Anyone else want to share? Being in the flow. Thank you, Christine. Deborah, to get to the top of the pendulum. Very good. Mm-hmm. And one thing that my students know about me is that in my classes, we have fun, we learn, but I also challenge you, just so you know. I will challenge you. I'll be like, do you really know? Is that what's happening? I will challenge you because I know for me that this character needs to be challenged, right? B says the illusion is in the attic in the form of a dusty old boxes. Yeah. That's not my metaphor. It's actually Jed McKenna's, but it works really well. Really well. Okay. Anyone else want to share what they took away from today? Let's see, Victor or anybody else that was participating here? Oliver, Victor. Anybody? All right, everyone. So just so you know, you have the link there in the chat. So you can open that up right now. We will be sending out an email, but here's the deal. There are more than 70 people, 70. Also, Black and White Kitty is so cute. Thank you, B. Yeah, that's Roxy. There's more than 70 something people that signed up for this. So I'm going to be sending this out, and with 10 spots available, it's going to go. It will go. And if you want to save that $200, which is a huge gift, then do it quickly, because we're definitely going to sell out. So, and I'm super excited about this. I think it'll be great. Nice to know A Course in Miracles can help us in the dream. Thank you, Oliver. That's so true. So true. Makes you understand. You're welcome, Lori. Okay. All right, so you will be getting something in the mail, and if not, just go to my website, maxryan.net, and it'll be on the front cover, and you can click on there. And once the class is sold out, the 10 spots available, you won't see it anymore. Okay. All right. Thank you, Aaron. Great to see a lot of my old friends here. I adore you. I love you so much, and I had a good time. I hope you appreciated not a traditional webinar format. What did you think of that? I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. See, that's what I do. It was nice. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, people see so many of those that are just like, ugh, with the slides, with the Jesus. And then you're like, I'm just waiting for him to sell me some shit. They're going to be selling me some shit at the end of this. I just tell you right up front, I'm going to do that for the rest of the time. But I don't see why you have to. It's an old school model that's so deceptive and horrible, you know? So anyway, all right. I love you all so much. Thank you for taking your time and being here. And I'll be on Insight Timer tomorrow, and hopefully maybe you'll see me there. I love you too. 45 minutes, and they could have told me it's 5. Thank you. Thank you. And listen, we love entertaining. Love it. We love it. So, okay, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your night or your morning or wherever you happen to be. And I'll be on Insight Timer tomorrow. And if there's anything that you need, go on. You can email me at mr@maxryan.net. mr@maxryan.net. Okay. All right. I love you. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody. Oh, take care. Thanks, Oliver.